I did want to make mention of this GEM update, which is really sort of an extension of the Meta Andromeda update that we've been talking about for nearly a year now. Really, it is just more of the same of what we've always been talking about. It's the Generative Ads Recommendation Model, which is basically, it's like a super brain that taps into the LLM, which is the Meta Lattice, which is the library. So the Andromeda update might come across, you might hear it as the GEM Lattice Andromeda update. Meta is actually sort of calling that now. We've been referring to it as Andromeda, but it's really, it's AI. It's the algorithm just getting smarter and smarter. And they say basically because of this GEM update, you're getting 5% more conversions on Facebook and you're getting 3% more conversions on Instagram, or maybe it's the vice versa. Anyway, small incremental improvements.
We've been using first click CAPI imports in order to retrain stuff, but I'll give just a half-second example of, this isn't even what we're going to be talking about today, but it is important to actually just even cover this for those of you who still think or still want to target a specific type of users. This is something that we noticed this last month. So this is a case study. It's actually pretty cool. So we're going to share it along with another case study that we're going to be talking about today as well. Yep. But you can see here, this is a returning customer campaign. So this is focused on returning customers. It gets, it works really, really well. Spend $9,000, got 1,730 returning purchases, costs us $5 each. Easy peasy. It's a company with a great brand loyalty, so we don't have to spend too much. Right. So we said, hey, what if we just stop marketing to them? And so we, from the 4th to the 18th of November, we actually paused this campaign from the 4th to the 18th, and we compared to the previous period. What was interesting is this campaign was not spending too much. It was spending $7,500 every like 2 weeks or so. Yeah. So not too much. And when that was paused, we actually also started scaling our new customer campaign in order to drive more awareness for our Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I know it was 2 weeks ago when we kind of did a little bit of a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, like kind of touch upon some points. And I said, hey, you want to start to scale up now before Black Friday, Cyber Monday goes live so that you can have a bigger audience. And, I don't really care what the metrics were at that point in time on these people. Yes, we scale up 68%, but because it's new customer focus, we did get 50% more new customers. Awesome. Cost us $10 more. Who cares? But watch this. This is something that I thought was really quite interesting, is if we look at the amount of returning customers, there was 1,291. So we say, okay, we lost minus 1,291. We have a negative. And if we look at the delta, which we'll be using another calculator on, the delta of returning customers in this one campaign here was, we have 2,399. It's right there at the bottom. So 2,399. And then, well, actually, you know what? I have to do this one first. This one was 3,805. 3,805. That's the after. 3,805 minus 2,399 is 1,406. So pausing that one campaign and losing, quote unquote, 1,291 existing customers, we actually increased the amount of existing customers in our new customer campaign by 1,400. We literally added like 115, 116 more returning customers in our new customer campaign. So we see the new customer campaign went from $23.99 existing customer purchases to now $38.05. Which is funny because this campaign says it's not spending on existing customers and they're excluded. So how did that happen? Creative does what it wants. Guess what created both of these? They are literally the same exact creative. It is a clone of each other. And so we have two campaigns. They are the same campaign. They have these same exact exclusions, and they have two different optimizations. But once we shut off existing customers in campaign B, all of those existing customers and more went to campaign A. So that's what's really interesting, is if we say, hey, we'd like to not go after existing customers here and we'll build a campaign for it, you can keep them optimized. It will work towards and it will scale what they are trying to work towards, but it will still remarket, and your existing customers will still be there. So that's where it is a little bit of like you really can't pick and choose who the ads are going to. The creative does the targeting. So we kind of learned to leverage that. And that's kind of the part of our second case study that we're going to be going into today. But before I dive in, any talking points there? Because otherwise I'll blow through things really fast. We'll be staring at each other for like 40 minutes.
Yeah. No. I get it. We're having a technical issue with this showing up only in like the vertical format for some reason. So we're gonna have to. So if you are watching, the recording is actually going to be in the landscape version. So because it uploaded both. Anyway, there's something strange going on with StreamYard. We're gonna have to figure this one out. But anyway, just a note, because we had a couple of mentions of it in the comments. Super interesting stuff. Today we're going to be talking about micro conversions too, but I did want to make mention of this GEM update, which is really sort of an extension of the Meta Andromeda update that we've been talking about for nearly a year now. It actually is really a year, because it came
December
out
2nd.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been 12 months. So this is like an iteration of Andromeda. I did a podcast on it this week with Andrew Foxwell, but really it is just more of the same of what we've always been talking about. It's the Generative Ads Recommendation Model, which is basically, it's like a super brain that taps into the LLM, which is the Meta Lattice, which is the library. So the Andromeda update might come across, you might hear it as the GEM Lattice Andromeda update. Meta is actually sort of calling that now. We've been referring to it as Andromeda, but it's really, it's AI. It's the algorithm just getting smarter and smarter. And they say basically because of this GEM update, you're getting 5% more conversions on Facebook and you're getting 3% more conversions on Instagram, or maybe it's the vice versa. Anyway, small incremental improvements. Yeah. Apparently, according to Meta, this is off the record, they say, look, before with Andromeda, Facebook and Instagram weren't actually talking to each other. They weren't linked, which I found amazing to me. So like they didn't know what each other was doing, but it really did seem that, I mean, obviously if you pull sort of the stuff that you're doing right now with all the money that we've spent testing this, you probably have you ever looked at the mix between Instagram impressions versus Facebook? Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? Like what's your comment on that?
Well, let me do this. I can't show the client.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a screenshot of it real quick, and I'm going to share this. This is the day that we went live. This was June 1st, 2025. So, 5 months ago. This was the day that we enabled, or we built out a campaign to the Andromeda standard. And this is what actually saved this client year over year. They're a visual brand, they're a fashion brand, and that fashion brand was doing very, very well on Instagram. Now, I can see if I can try to build a case study here, but what we noticed is that our traffic, we were losing, what was before and after, this is now the after, this is the good. So before, we had basically a high amount of Facebook and a lower amount of Instagram. We turn on Andromeda, and now we have a lower amount of Facebook and a higher amount of Instagram, and that's where we were all last year. The placements started to get removed, or not removed. The placements inside of our non-Andromeda campaigns were starting to go haywire. Basically, the traditional campaigns that were not Andromeda compliant started to actually give us more traffic on Facebook than Instagram, even when we're trying to adjust placements. Turn on Andromeda, and all of a sudden, 48% less traffic on Facebook, 35% more traffic on Instagram. Year over year results in 1 week went from -33 to +2%. I mean, it was a massive swing. So yeah, I absolutely believe it. We noticed that as well.
Interesting. Yeah. So I dropped a link in the notes here today, and we'll also leave it in the YouTube channel and wherever we post this. But some very cool new graphics for us to show off when you get a chance to read this article. It's like it's out of the engineers they talk like so over my head. I've had to learn. I mean, you and I are both in all these AI stocks and everything. Right. But do we really actually know anything about a GPU?
No, stocks is green line go up, and I'm like, yeah, all right.
GPUs, they're all good.
I've been trading GPUs all day long.
That's right, GPUs all day long. Did you know
those GPUs are great?
Yeah, they're fantastic. Did you know that Google has their own GPU?
Oh man. That's the thing that people have said is silently killing Bitcoin. Their quantum computing can solve Bitcoin mining encryptions in 2 minutes rather than 15 years. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to threaten the entire Bitcoin chain. It's an exciting time to be alive. It's fun.
It's like, NVIDIA actually has a competitor, but doesn't really, like, NVIDIA is just growing like incredibly right now. Obviously, they're the ones who, it's a graphic, they were a gaming company, and now they are the bleeding edge
$5 trillion.
$5 trillion valuation right now, which is insane. But anyway, the point is,
it was funny. During his, and this is about Facebook, when he was his the earnings not earnings call, sorry, the presentation that they did at the time of earnings, he was holding up a Hopper chip.
Yeah, Grace Hopper.
And Grace Hopper. And he's like,
there's a Grace and there's a Hopper, right?
Yeah. And so the Meta uses Grace, the NVIDIA Grace Hopper platform. Mm-hmm. And Meta, it was like, he's like, this is the Hopper chip, and this is revolutionary. It changed the world. And he pulled out the Blackstone chip, which is like 5 times the size and 5 times the power. And he's like, this is like next and what people are buying. And you have to imagine Meta is one of those buyers of that new chip.
Oh god!
So if the tiny little chip of the Grace Hopper chip is doing this much for AI and Meta, imagine if they move to Blackstone, which is it can process the entire internet's worth of information in 2 seconds. Like it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The compute that is available now and will be in the future is like it blows your mind. If you do any sort of research on this, I mean, obviously everyone's using AI, everyone's using ChatGPT and Gemini and all that, but it's like, this is just, we're scratching the surface.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be. So pretty exciting stuff. So anyway, article in the notes for you if you want to go deep and get geeky on it. Yeah. I love when I talk to my son who works at Applied Materials about semiconductors. Like I lose him after about like a minute. I ask some question. It's like he's going off on all these physics things. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Yep. Yep. Keep going. Make Dad proud.
It's like talking to me about like healthy eating. I'm like, you don't go to Buffalo Wild Wings? That's weird.
Buffalo Wild Wings and bang all day. What the hell?
Yeah, like what's broccoli?
With broccoli.
All right.
All right. Well, let's get into another case study. You're just full. You're full of it today, Joe.
I am just full of it.
Case studies.
I am full of just AI and case studies and everything else I can't say publicly. Full of it.
That's all right. That's all right.
So this is actually something that we've been working on for a few weeks now and a few months, actually. It's since August. And what we've been testing is micro conversions inside of Andromeda. Because we don't really necessarily have inclusion and exclusion funnels, we thought, well, could we have micro conversions and inclusions and exclusions? Where not really inclusions and exclusions, but basically just inclusions. So what we're trying to figure out right now, essentially, is everyone has their funnel. This is, oh, wait, I'm sorry. I forgot that this thing was not sharing full screen. There we go. Okay. So everyone has their funnel. And for Google, we're always typically like right around here. We want to track the bottom of the funnel conversions as much as we possibly can, because in Google inbound, the middle of the funnel and upper funnel become extremely expensive on inbound, which means if you think about it, you're paying, let's just say like a $5 cost per click. Okay. So $5 CPC. And for you to train your entire funnel downwards in a $5 CPC environment, and maybe this one is add to cart, maybe this one is begin checkout, and maybe this one is conversion. Now, bots are very prevalent, and the cost per click is very, very expensive. And it's very hard to do a low CPC inbound on quality users inside of Google. So we've always said, hey, micro conversions are going to be hard, because if anybody is looking at any sort of product and they simply add it to a cart to see what is your price versus Amazon's, as an example, you're going to pay at least $5 for that. And that gets very expensive. Now,
and there's a lot of people that shop that way, by the way.
Absolutely.
That is not like just a wild thing that you see. If you optimize for add to carts, you will find the add to cart people. My wife is one of them, by the way.
Same here. Yeah, my wife is always. Yeah. It's almost like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. She's built like 12 carts, and she's just waiting for the emails. Yeah, I mean, people are smart. They track trends. Then, so obviously, the top of the funnel is very expensive, and you can sometimes just suck up your entire daily ad spend and never really leave this portion of the journey. That is something that happens quite often. So we said, well, let's look at this on Meta. When we were trying to get this company to be up to speed really quickly on the new first click CAPI import purchases, they were coming very slowly because it is a 30-day sales cycle. So technically on a first click new customer import, you should wait approximately 30 days before you can say this is working or it is not. You're going to have conversions day 2, 5, and 10, but they're going to ramp up more strictly on day 30. Right. So we said, well, is there a path that's right before the purchase that we can at least feed Andromeda? And so we did the click-through checkout. This is a first click. It is a CAPI import, and it is about a person who had to have started on Facebook and at least made it to begin checkout. Because if we can get to that page, I can bring a lot of those users to the site for sub $50 for checkout, like let's say 30, 35, and we can amplify the amount of relearning on a new audience that Meta will start to retarget rather than waiting to change audiences or identify what is working after 30 days. So we just shorten the learning. Mm-hmm. You know, it's essentially like we give a tip to Meta, like, hey, starting to look good. You're on the right track. Keep going. That was the micro conversion. Inside of Google, sometimes that fails. Inside of Meta, Andromeda seems to work pretty well.